warm welcome to all of you to the Economic Times Digital Banking Summit 2022, presented by Kyndryl and co-powered by IndusFace, Exotel, and Dell Technologies. Now, we do believe that the pandemic is catalyzing digital transformation across all the business models, or for that matter, touch points or even the channels. Now, while that happens, we also do notice that when we go forward, it'll be really critical, especially for banks, to move away from branch banking and then have a well-established digital infrastructure in place across all the channels. And why? That is to deliver enhanced speed as well as convenience across all customer segments, as well as urban and the rural markets. So that's the reason here we are at the summit, to bring forth these discussions and to also hear as to what's the way forward, especially when we're talking about digital banking. Without any delay, let's get our session started. In fact, it's a very interesting panel discussion coming up for all of you around private banks embracing emerging technologies to drive bold transformations with customer-centric approach.
Sumit, I would like to have your views. We see banks are leveraging emerging technologies, to provide a very high quality and convenient services. Please, could you share from your experience key imperatives to provide such high quality and convenient services?
Of course, as you are aware, a lot of technologies are emerging, especially in the BFSI industry. For example, what you can say, AI/ML technologies is one buzzword right now, which is happening in the industry. We are using this AI/ML technologies and data analytics tools to do credit scoring, to predict the delinquency of a customer, maybe, and to approach those customers in a more proactive manner. That's one thing. Second, one prominent tool which I'm sure all the banks and industries will be using is RPA, robotic process automations, for our backend automations. If I can take my organization, we are using more than 200 plus bots for various backend operations, which are rather mundane activities for a human to do. It's a repetitive activities where we don't want any precious manpower to spend their time. So almost all our backend technological operations are right now done using RPA technologies. Then if I come to cloud technology, a lot of services are now taken to cloud, whether it's SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. All those services we are using cloud technologies. So these are the major new technologies which should highlight. Maybe some of the things which are evolving that we need to wait and watch, as IoT, wearables.
What does it take to digitize and offer value to the customer in the commercial side of it? And what could be some of the challenges or traps which organizations can fall into when they are going in their journey for digitizing the commercial side of business? So Alice, I would like to invite you to share your thoughts to our audiences, please.
I think the most important is how we to digitalize the all connected service and running in the cloud. I think the most challenge right now for the digital banking is how we to operate all the service by the AI driven. Why this is so important? Because all commercial banks move to the platform business, more engaged with the marketplace. So how you to support the open architecture, so as we call it open banking, provide an open API, can be more easily integrated with a different fintech eco partner. So when we move to the open banking, how you to change the bank infrastructure to run on the cloud, manage my data, and also can provide an open API to integrate with different kind of service. I think that is very important. If we focus on the customer centricity, that means customer have the more expectation from you, even you integrate your partner solution. They want to have the one-shot experience, end-to-end, easy to use. So if we focus on the customer centricity, not just the UI UX easy to use, you need to integrate all the service flow into one place with your partner. I think that is more challenging part because service flow actually is not designed in-house.
I would like to go to Prasanna, to you, and request you to share your experiences covering both the technologies and approaches which you have been using or you're seeing being used to deliver these value outcomes, so that customer centricity can be enabled through real-time actionable insight.
When we design or decide a digital transformation strategy, look at all the interfaces today, right, which are centric to the customer. So starting with where customer onboarding starts. So their technology comes like eKYC or video KYC, or how do we utilize artificial intelligence or OCR kind of a technology while we are onboarding some of the documents of a customer. So that could be the way to see how we are onboarding new technologies for a customer experience, starting with the customer onboarding. Then how are we serving the customers, either through contact center or on mobile apps, right? So I think gone were those days, some of the banks were searching for mobile app. Now everything is on a mobile first journey, right? So now we have to add more services on top of that platform. Like now some of the apps are now becoming super apps. It's not only banking services, but now non-banking services are also coming up, so that the engagement of the customer remains with that brand, like Yono or PayZapp or Google Pays or Phone Pays, while they are now onboarding many more things. At the same time, now customers are engaging existing banks are engaging existing customers and the new customers with the fintech alignment. So that kind of a technology is now coming up to service the customer for not only banking but non-banking services.
With that, I'll move to my next question, and I would like to come to you, Ritesh. What would be your experiences, both in terms of fintech partnership as well as technology agility and flexibility in driving this digital adoption?
So if you look at it, COVID, while it kind of had a lot of ill effects on things, it hyper accelerated digital. So people have started to look at combining the data that is already available with them with the agility of doing business, and ultimately giving the service that people demand at an overall level to them. So if you look at it, it's the time where hyper-personalization would also come in. Every organization, lending may be a lending, but the way that an organization does it would be entirely very, very different. And that's where technologies like low code, like RPA, intelligence, AI, ML, bots, and cloud would play a very, very critical role. Fintechs, we, on the other hand, we also see that banks are also very, very regulated, which probably is also an issue with them because there's as much as they can do in the boundaries of the regulation. And that's where the NBFCs and fintechs or the neobanks or the challenger banks give them the run for their money. Today, it's not about investment into brick and mortar, but into the right technologies to kind of catapult you to the right level.
The Economic Times Digital Banking Summit 2022 also features leaders and experts from across the BFSI space, providing insights on a variety of topics such as bird-eye view on past successes, recent developments and upcoming strategies in the digital banking sector, managing the cost and complexity of governance, risk and compliance, application of security best practices for a banking application, Lakehouse for financial services, the future is open, neobanks disrupting the financial services industry, the road forward, creating effective and customer-centric digital strategies, and many more.
We are in the business of securing web and mobile applications and API. Post-pandemic, one clear change has been the speed at which and the volume at which digitization initiatives are being embraced by all companies, and especially even more so the banking sector. I would say the cybersecurity attacks, more than being more sophisticated, the sophistication part is actually they are more targeted, more focused, and they are more motivated, especially there's money involved in the banking sector. So I think the biggest change post-pandemic is because of the speed of digitization becoming the pressing imperative for businesses to survive, it has left a big opportunity for target attackers to do more targeted, focused, and motivated attacks on the banking sector.
When you talk about banking financial services institutions today, you can talk about how they're putting data to use in four key initiatives. Personalization is extremely important. Know your customer, creating a complete 360-degree view of your customer across channels or products. And this is extremely important from a customer experience standpoint. The second major area is regulation and compliance. It's top of mind for banks and other institutions as well. It is very, very important for customers to be regulatory compliant and offer a lot of their internal complex reports to the regulators in a seamless and timely manner. And data sharing between banks and regulatory bodies will only improve this process. On the buy side, as a third pillar, you're talking about the quantitative research. It's a very, very hot area. Buy-side firms are becoming increasingly more complex, data-driven, and taking quantitative and research workflows in-house. And finally, we talk about environmental, social, and corporate governance issues. How can we bring that data to customers to make more informed decisions on areas such as climate change, diversity, and Snowflake today is working to bring more data across the board and make it more frictionless to integrate ESG data and scores.
Most of my bullishness about our role in enabling BFSI friends, BFSI customers to remain customer focused is coming because of the fact that we've now been put into a place where most of the old offline processes are now transforming into either hybrid or remote processes. And as customer communication and engagement technology providers, we find ourselves smack in the middle between the enterprise as well as their customers. We already know that all of our BFSI partners are investing heavily in two things right now. One is automation, and the other one is engagement, customer engagement. So we form the second part of it. And one of the unique ways in which we're thinking about this is to create a platform, a communication platform that is easily integratable in various different CRMs and systems, no matter what they are. Certainly, we have default integrations into all kinds of existing banking softwares, so that's easy. But even if they have something that's custom made, then because of the nature of our APIs, application programming interfaces, it's quite easy to now integrate and start using. Ultimately, our goal is to remove the friction from the flywheel. We want to bring together all the data that's getting generated and is getting stored and siloed in different CRM systems, make it all available in one place so that decision makers can have a complete view of the customer's journey. And we also want to use this data further to make the bots intelligent so that more and more of queries can be handled automatically and less of the agents are disturbed so that they can actually spend more time on answering complicated questions. So I think these are broadly the two focus areas for us in the way we are now trying to help BFSI companies in the future. Many savings bank account holders or wealth managers, they used to personally go and meet users and build strong relationships, understand the client requirements. But all of that is now kind of moving to a very remote engagement. And these are dashboards, tools, and technologies that the BFSI customers earlier did not have. And we've actually enabled a lot of BFSI customers with RM tools, relationship management tools. So this includes dashboards, click to call, voice, WhatsApp, SMS, sometimes even video, so that they are able to now continue to manage as effective a relationship with their customers as they used to in the physical world. So this is one big paradigm shift that we are seeing. We've all heard of bots, but the true potential of bots are only slowly getting realized. There are many sections of bots. So there is the interactive voice agent. Then there are bots that are analyzing contact center conversations and providing insights to contact center managers. So that's the post-call quality assurance bot. So bots as a group is also another technology that is going through a paradigm shift. And all of this is resulting in much better personalization for the users and ultimately much better customer experience.
There's a huge opportunity for banking to reimagine itself using data and AI. There's two main forces at play here that we think are really exciting. The first one is that India has the highest rate of adoption in the world for data and AI. And second is there's a transformation continuing to happen in banking where companies are moving from more conventional models to convenience models. And as such, people and data have become its most important assets. And in particular, when we start thinking about the way in which companies want to use data, we're seeing a range of use cases from credit scoring, fraud detection, real-time collection analytics, And even if you then look at the customer experience, every single stage of that customer experience can be optimized using data and AI. So when you think about the range of different data types that companies need to think about and use, unstructured data is clearly one of the bigger challenges for companies to embrace. When you think about having to run exploratory data science, production machine learning, advanced analytics, a lot of these things are going to require unstructured data. And so what companies need from technology is the flexibility to be able to put all of that data in one place and enable each of their teams across the business to be able to use it in a way that better helps serve the customer and meet the needs. The biggest shift that we're seeing is the rise of fintech and the ecosystems around fintech in India. Is the second largest fintech hub in the world, trailing only the US. So we're seeing examples like fintech really show the opportunity for us to use technology, data, and AI to expand on the demand customers have in building ecosystems such as fintech. And as such, we can see the opportunity for these companies to use open platforms that provide simple ways for their team to access the same tools and then execute using data in the cloud, being a really, really exciting opportunity that allows the fintech ecosystem to develop in India.
Digital transformation is nothing new for the banks. It's an ongoing initiative as new channels of communication and customer engagement emerge every few years. But the last few years are probably the first time these channels became the primary channels of engagement. For example, if you look at UPI, the volumes have doubled in the last 1 year alone, reaching 60% of Indian retail payments. In the post-pandemic world, the number of demat accounts have jumped 2.2 times, and the market is just nowhere near saturation. So there's a lot of new entrants in the market. This accelerated adoption of digital is a positive outcome for the banking sector and has opened up a plethora of opportunities for this industry. The government further aided this with policies that allowed e-KYC and video KYC as example. For the first time, the entire onboarding experience could be contactless. And this is exactly what our customers like Axis Bank enabled very early on during the pandemic. We even saw innovations in customer servicing, an area where you don't associate innovation to. For example, claims processing in insurance. Insurance companies innovated by leveraging AI/ML to adjudicate contactless claims, as well as reduce human intervention in hospital claims. This aided faster discharge process. The government now is encouraging banks to open digital banking units. That is a testament to the relative success of the banking sector in embracing these new opportunities. With the depth and breadth of services that are made available by AWS to developers, banks now have an alternative to investing in large capital expenditures that they're stuck with for long periods of time and require a lot of operational focus. The consumption-based cloud models have completely democratized the availability of these technologies, including in advanced areas like AI/ML. And we are innovating at scale, releasing hundreds of new services and features every year. And we are making this available at a very, very fast clip. And what comes as an added advantage is resiliency and security.
Hello and welcome to the second edition of the Economic Times Diversity and Inclusion Summit 2022, wherein topmost leaders discuss strategies and practices being adopted by India Inc. to drive change and establish more diverse and inclusive culture. Business leaders, practice heads and diversity champions weigh in on a variety of topics such as measuring ROI on diversity, equality and inclusion, inspiring leadership, creating, cultivating and inspiring, disability inclusion and accessibility, a practical approach, attracting diverse talent and inclusive recruitment, diversity and inclusion through the government lens, preventing sexual harassment at workplace, and many more.
Dreaming big is in our DNA at AB InBev, as we aim to always attract people better than ourselves and build our company on passionate people becoming owners. We are tied to our core 10 principles, and one of our key principles states that we recruit people better than ourselves and are known by the quality and diversity of our teams. We are not only here to sell the best quality beer and beverages, but also bringing the best minds together from across with primary mission to serve our consumers and customers. We remain committed on driving D&I across the company with a long-term vision. Our brewery in Maharashtra with a 50-50 gender ratio, just an example, is a testament to many such bold initiatives as we continue to dream big.